Welcome to this final lesson in our introductory course on nutrition. Most of this course we've looked at those 6 classes of nutrients: carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, vitamins, minerals, water. We looked at where they got in our diet and how they impacted individually our health. For this last lesson, we're going to take a look at nutrition during the life cycle, during pregnancy, lactation, in those early years of our life and how nutrition impacts that. If you ask pregnant parents what they want, a boy or a girl, usually the standard response is, "I don't care as long as they're healthy." And as we try to define that term healthy, it gets a little sketchy. And so we have different ways to measure that. Now, one measure is fairly drastic, and that's the number of deaths per live birth. Right now in the United States, we have about 7 deaths for every 1,000 live births. It's much better than what it used to be. 50, 60 years ago, we'd have 25, 30, maybe even 40 deaths per live birth. So we've made a lot of progress, but we're still behind a lot of other industrial nations. We're about 24th in the world in the incidence of deaths per live birth, so we can do better. Now, if we don't want to use such a drastic measure, we can look at other measures, such as birth weights of the child and congenital defects, and we consistently find that nutrition makes a difference. And it can make a difference whether we consume too little of a nutrient or too much. If you consume too little of folate very early in the pregnancy, sometimes even at the stage when the mom doesn't even know she's pregnant, there's an increased risk for spina bifida, a congenital defect. So it's important that we anticipate our pregnancies and that we can take the nutrients early on. But there's also a risk of too much vitamin A from the retinoid forms, and too much alcohol at almost any stage of the pregnancy can lead to birth defects. So it's important that we don't just not think about too little, but also think about too much. And that wouldn't usually come from food, but it's from supplements and supplement abuse. So in this lesson, we'll take a look at the physiology of pregnancy, the stages of the pregnancy for the mom, and then those stages of development for the child, and how nutrition impacts each stage. After the child is born, then, we look at the next stage. We take a look at nutrition during those first few months of life and compare breastfeeding to bottle feeding. Hopefully by the end of this, you'll understand and appreciate the nutritional benefits that breastfeeding has for both the mom and the child, and that every one of you will believe that your offspring deserve the benefit of being breastfed. And then we'll take a look at how do you take that child from being breast or bottle fed to being on solid food and eating with the family table. Being newborn, new parents is kind of a time of anxiety, but it's a time of wonder. Kids are born ready to eat. We just need to help them develop some good habits so they can have a healthier life.